and working through everything smoothly. I'd like to take a moment to extend a sincere welcome to our esteemed guests, Governor Ron DeSantis here in the front, Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunes, Senator Tom Wright, and Representative Tyler Soroy. And to everybody else, welcome to Kennedy Space Center. I don't know if any of you have been in this room before. Pretty historic room, right? This is where we hold most of our launch readiness reviews for all the historic missions we do in human spaceflight, dating back to the space shuttle. Today is going to be no different, right? We're setting a legacy here today that's going to ripple forward and be a great extending mission for what we do and how we all collaborate together. Here to commence the occasion is the woman who has served as Kennedy Space Center more than 18 years, first as Deputy Director, now as my boss, our Director, Ms. Janet Petro.
Well, thank you, Mark. Appreciate those kind words. And again, let me extend a warm welcome to all of you here at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. As Mark said, we're here to mark the beginning of an exciting new chapter for us here. For more than 6 decades, Kennedy Space Center has been synonymous with innovation, creativity, and discovery. And from this spot, if you look out the window there, we can see where the very first crew missions launched as human left the bounds of low Earth orbit for the first time. From here, we have launched many of the science missions that have unlocked the mysteries of the universe in which we live. And right here, scientists and engineers have developed technologies that have taught us more about our home planet and sustained long-term human presence on orbit, with many of those same investigations paving the way for more exploration and discovery as we prepare to return to the moon and send humans deeper into space than ever before. And so it really feels fitting that Kennedy Space Center is where we gather today as we launch this new chapter, entering into an agreement that has the potential to impact the posture of this center for years to come. Through this agreement, we are building a universe of possibilities, and we are at the center of that universe. The inception of the Florida University Space Research Consortium marks the first time a NASA center has been affiliated with a university consortium, providing Kennedy with a unique opportunity to enhance its research and technology capabilities to meet NASA needs, while also allowing students one-of-a-kind opportunities to expand their knowledge and experience prior to joining the workforce. This symbiotic partnership makes way for collaborative research opportunities and increased exposure to advanced technology, significantly enhancing NASA's research output in fields such as aerospace engineering, material science, robotics, and environmental science, all of which are necessary for long-term human exploration as we learn to live and work deeper into space than ever before. It can also impact how students learn, potentially influencing the development of a new academic program in participating universities while providing students internship and cooperative education opportunities with hands-on experience in aerospace and related fields. And it optimizes opportunities for expanded partnerships by providing a platform to align research expertise and workforce development priorities between NASA, participating universities, other federal agencies, and private industry. This agreement is a shining example of what it looks like when we link arms and we create a space for the whole to be greater than the sum of all our parts. This endeavor wouldn't be possible without the tireless work of many people across many organizations, and I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to acknowledge that effort and collaboration today. Thank you to Governor Ron DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunes, Senator Tom Wright, Tyler Soroy, and all of the other members here, and Space Florida for recognizing the importance of strong cooperation between the state, its universities, and the aerospace industry to ultimately strengthen our spaceport here. Thank you to the University of Florida, University of Central Florida, and Embry-Riddle University for working together to increase opportunities for collaboration and making way for the Artemis generation to carry the torch of discovery and innovation. And to those on my team here at the Kennedy Space Center, including those in the Exploration, Research, and Technologies Directorate, the Spaceport Development Division, and the Center Strategy and Influence Office, who have worked tirelessly for months on end to see this day come to fruition, thank you for your dedication to ensuring Kennedy Space Center is well postured to continue serving as the Earth's premier spaceport as we launch humanity's future. And now, let me introduce somebody who probably needs no introduction, but we are honored today to be joined here by a man whose ties to the state run deep. He's a Florida native. He has led a life dedicated to public service. A Navy veteran, he has proudly served the state of Florida since his election to Congress in 2012, and as a U.S. representative for Florida's 6th District, and then as governor following his election in 2018. He's been an advocate for the Kennedy Space Center and Florida's aerospace industry, and a staunch supporter of the Florida University Space Research Consortium. Please join me in welcoming Governor Ron DeSantis.
Thank you. And just for the record, yes, I was a U.S. Congressman for a few terms, and I have fully recovered from that experience. I'm happy to be down in the state of Florida. And it's especially to be great to be back here on the Space Coast of Florida. If you look at the first American satellite in 1958, John Glenn becoming the first American to orbit the Earth in 1962, and of course, the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, which put a man on the moon. Every single one of those missions were launched from right here in Cape Canaveral in Florida. This is really special ground when it comes to space. And I think if you look at what we've done in the state of Florida, our ecosystem for space has never been better. Space Florida alone's economic impact has been projected to reach $1.1 billion annually over the next many years. When we do foreign trips, whether it's Asia, the Mideast, or Europe, we're working with those countries on establishing ties in space because we have all these resources here in the state of Florida. We have more than 2,700 aerospace and aviation establishments with 21 commercial airports and 3 spaceports, Cape Canaveral, Jacksonville, Titusville. They've allowed Florida to lead the nation as space exploration has flourished in recent years, of course, now with private sector investment. In 2023, Patrick Space Force Base was designated as the home of U.S. Space Force Training and Readiness Command, STARCOM headquarters. We think that this is fitting to be in the state of Florida, and as the most military-friendly state in the country and the most space-focused state in the country, we think it's a great fit. We're also proud of our education system. Our university system, public university system, has been ranked #1 in the nation for the last 8 years. We focus heavily on STEM and other related fields that are very important for aviation and aerospace. We also focus very heavily on workforce preparation. Not everyone needs to attend one of those universities to be able to acquire skills that can be brought to bear in this industry. We are the #1 state for net tech employment in the Southeast. We're #1 in aircraft maintenance, repair, overhaul establishments, and #3 in aircraft manufacturing establishments in the entire U.S. We're home to over 20 major military installations, with many of you know, and we have almost 150,000 Floridians that are working in the aviation and aerospace industry. So strengthening this and continuing to build momentum is something that's very, very important to us. We looked at it and said we have an opportunity to do something with our universities. And so I appreciate everybody that's been involved in this. But the creation of this consortium, which is right now the University of Florida, University of Central Florida, and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, which is not one of our public universities, but is a great engine for our state over in Daytona Beach. They have an agreement with NASA, this will be a consortium that will facilitate more readily awarded NASA research grants in partnership, of course, with Kennedy Space Center. I was talking to the director before we came out here. There is an interest in moving the headquarters of NASA right here to Kennedy Space Center, and I'm supportive of that. They have this massive building in Washington, D.C., and like nobody goes to it, so why not just shutter it and move everybody down here? I think they're planning on spending like $500 million to build a new building up in D.C. that no one will ever go to either. So hopefully with the new administration coming in, they'll see a great opportunity to just headquarter NASA here on the Space Coast of Florida. I think that'd be very, very fitting. But we have an opportunity, of course, to bring down more federal resources. We also have an ability to fuel innovative research initiatives and allow for the development of national space policy right here in the Sunshine State. So the possibilities are significant with this memorandum of understanding that'll be signed, creating this consortium. Now, in time, other universities in the state will be welcome to join. We think that what we have now is very, very positive, and I know each one of those institutions has really led the way in things that are very important to aerospace and aviation industries, but we're very competitive with our universities, and when one does something, some other want to try to match. So hopefully we'll have more universities that will be brought to bear on this. So this is one of its kind in the country. No one else has done this. It just shows that Florida's committed to leading and continuing to make great progress on the issues that really matter to a lot of people. So I personally, as governor, am looking forward to what we have in store in the years ahead. I think there's going to be a lot of momentum in terms of space with the incoming administration. Happens to be some people that are close to the incoming president that care a lot about space. I know that for sure, that are famous, and many of you may know. So I think you're going to see a lot of great momentum, and you're going to continue to see a lot of great things. So we're very well positioned as a state anyways, but now with this consortium, I think it expands our horizons and possibilities. So thanks to everybody that's been involved. I look forward to watching the memorandum get signed, and it is a really great day for the great state of Florida. So thank you.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis. We're honored to be joined today by a woman whose support has been invaluable to the Kennedy Space Center. A Miami native, she has proudly served as Lieutenant Governor since 2018. In addition to her other duties, she's been tasked with serving as the chair of Space Florida, where she plays a pivotal role advocating and rebuilding the Indian River Bridge and ensuring Kennedy is able to deliver its mission of providing continuous access to space, and where she has been a staunch supporter of the Florida University Space Research Consortium. Please join me in welcoming Florida's Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Nunes.
Well, thank you and good afternoon. It's such an honor to be here to celebrate this historic day in which we get to see a world-class partnership between three of our premier institutions and, of course, Kennedy Space Center. And I'd like to personally thank Janet Petro for her longstanding friendship and support for the state of Florida. In particular, your leadership here at KSC has been invaluable to us, and I know you and your team have done tremendous work, and we appreciate that. Of course, I want to publicly thank our President and CEO of Space Florida, Rob Long, along with some of our board members that are here. I see Board Member Hosseini and Board Member Cruz. Hopefully I don't miss some of the other board members that may be here. And then the university presidents, President Fox, President Cartwright, and President Butler. Thank you all for your leadership here today. And last but not least, our great governor, Governor Ron DeSantis, who has been just a tremendous advocate, making sure that Florida is thriving on all fronts, but in particular on aerospace. As you know, we're very proud to be recognized as the launch capital of the world. But in addition to what we do day in and day out, I'm so proud that we have three of our universities, two of them public, one private, but three of our universities that are here that are leading the way on space. And in addition, what we see, as the governor mentioned, we have our universities that have been recognized as the #1 higher educational system in the country 8 years running. So almost a decade, Florida has led the way on our educational front. Of course, so many other attributes that I would like to talk about, including leading the way for parental involvement, school choice, and the economy. I think the governor obviously touted all of our successes very succinctly. But what we have, and throughout our time in office, is Florida universities in terms of leading edge technology, cultivating talent, something really important to our workforce. And that's going to be pivotal to Florida's future in the aerospace industry. And so we're eager to continue these efforts, and those institutions that are here today are going to work hand in hand with KSC to make sure that we continue to be number one. And as the governor mentioned, we're also going to see additional universities joining this consortium. And I can see in the next couple of months and years, it's going to be a very robust consortium that's going to provide so many applications for research, technology, and innovation. As was mentioned in my role as Lieutenant Governor, the governor tasked me with heading up Space Florida, and it has been almost 6 years now in which I've had the privilege of serving as chair. And what I can tell you is that we are so proud of the work that we're doing. Many of it centers around our partnership with KSC. And of course our universities. And as I mentioned earlier, being the launch capital of the world, we're the envy of the other states that I get to interact with. But I can assure you that with this consortium, with the governor's leadership and the focus and direction of our university partners, we are not only going to be the launch capital of the world, but we're going to be the aerospace capital of the world. And so I'm looking forward to so many great accomplishments with this consortium and continuing to lead Space Florida. And I know that those of you that have been involved, this has been a labor of love. It's a long time coming. And I'm so proud to be able to be here to witness this very historic and transformative day for Florida. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Nunes. Gators have been here for a long time. 25 years ago, one of the first times I went around the corner to one of the ponds behind the building, there was a sign that said FSU fan swimming hole. So next, bring up Dr. Kent Fox, Interim President, University of Florida.
Thank you. I need a copy of that sign. You all, there are three things that make a consortium successful, a consortium that has an enduring impact. The first is the mission, the goal of that consortium. The second, I would say, are the members. Who makes up that consortium? Who are the partners in that consortium? And then the third would be the context in which that consortium operates. The mission for this consortium is very simple, and that is that we are going to lead the nation and the world in all areas of research associated with space sciences. And we all know that our nation is not going to lead the world in terms of its defense of our nation or in the economy of our nation if indeed we are not leading the whole world in the areas related to space, in all areas of space. So that indeed is the mission and the goal of this consortium for our three universities and NASA coupled together. Now the partners. The University of Florida could not think of two better partners anywhere in the nation, anywhere in the world, than those that are represented here. Our two other partners that represented by President Butler and also President Cartwright. The University of Central Florida, founded nearly 50 years ago, over 50 years ago, focusing on the workforce needed for NASA and the whole space industry. And then Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, leading the world in many areas, most areas associated with aeronautical engineering and space. For us, we bring complementary expertise to this consortium. And then our fourth partner, which indeed is the world's leading area related to space. There's no other federal agency we'd rather partner with, I'll say that, although we partner with a lot, than NASA. Our students are attracted to work at NASA. Many University of Florida and Embry-Riddle and UCF graduates are here in this room. And it drives many of the exciting areas that are now part of our daily lives. So this is a dream consortium from our perspective, the four entities that I have mentioned. Lastly, it's the context. The context, very simply, is the state of Florida. We have Governor DeSantis, we have our Lieutenant Governor Nunes, and we have Space Florida, all of that focused on helping us be successful as a nation in all areas related to space. And our focus on our consortium, again, is the research, the fundamental enabling technologies that will make us successful. So it's a real privilege for us from the University of Florida, Florida Gators, to be a part of this consortium. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Fox. An hour ago, on my drive north from 10 minutes south of here, this honestly happened. Bald eagle flying in front of me. I had to hit my brakes as a bald eagle was crossing State Road 3, dropped some of its nesting that it was going to go grab. So fitting, Dr. Barry Butler, president of Embry-Riddle University, bring you to the stage.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, I'd like to thank the Kennedy Space Center, Space Florida, and my colleagues from UF and UCF as well for pulling this together. What an opportunity to create the Florida University Space Research Consortium. I'd also like to express my deep appreciation to both our governor and lieutenant governor. The two of them have been just champions day in and day out for what you folks do here and for what we do as universities. And as was stated earlier, it's an important part of this state and it makes it really, really special. The collaboration between our universities and NASA will not only elevate our state universities' programs, but also support the center here as it soars to new heights with new initiatives, project technologies. And it was stated earlier, the pipeline of talent, being able to work on those sorts of projects starts as 18-year-olds at our respective institutions, gets educated, and then, has, you know, like a lot of people, has had an interest in working at this place forever. And it has to happen through the institutions you see here and others in the state to educate them to that level. And as we all know, today's space technology ecosystem is global and highly, highly competitive. Very proud, though, to be leading it in the United States. The Florida University Space Research Consortium will play a crucial role as we move forward as well. And Embry-Riddle, we strive every day in what we do to exemplify the excellence and also seek through this consortium. So being able to participate, be partners with these great institutions, partners with NASA as well as we move forward. And it's a testament to what we can do as a state and as a consortium working together. I can tell you this, there are a lot of universities around the country that just battle one another, not just on athletic fields, but battle one another to be better than one another and always at it. But to be able to get together like this and work together, there's complementary talent at each institution that work together, because at the end of the day, those folks here at NASA that work here, you come from all over. You come from a lot of different institutions. So our ability as presidents to show that we're going to work together to advance it is really important, setting the stage for that as we move forward. So thank you for having us as part of this. We promise we will contribute everything we can every day to make this the best out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. Promise I'll finish my little interim, make everybody smile here. I'm a New York native, and I came to school down here in Florida, and a UCF professor was teaching a class up here at the Space Center called Small Satellite Design. I never saw myself working in the aerospace industry, but that's what opened the door. It's things like this that are going to open the door, and it's really exciting, and it makes me, as a proud alumni, to introduce Dr. Alexander Cartwright for UCF.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon. It is great to be here, and on behalf of the UCF Board of Trustees, I want to thank everybody for allowing us to be a part of this. Especially I want to thank Governor DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor Nunes, for your leadership, Director Petro, and also all of my friends who happen to also be fellow engineers, the other presidents. And I think it may be the reason we three of us came together. But this is a great opportunity. Florida is #1 in higher education, and when you can combine the talent that is across all of our institutions together, we can do great things for this state. We are focused on how we continue to drive the economy forward, and that is a future that is filled with activities in space. And so we're grateful to our partners at NASA, grateful to Space Florida, and we believe that that future is the combination of the academy with industry, with government, and bridge the gaps between ideas and really invent a future that people couldn't even dream of. We have a great team, the University of Florida, Embry-Riddle, and UCF, coming together to really look for solutions to our grand challenges for the future of the space economy. That's actually going to make a difference for this state, and we look forward to being a part of that. I will say that the story of UCF, of course, couldn't be told without space. You already heard some of it. We were founded to actually support the Space Coast, and through that time we've continued to do bold things, innovative things to actually deliver on that. And I would say that you can't really even tell the story of space in Florida without talking about UCF. Consider that over 29% of Kennedy Space Center employees are UCF graduates. We have our UCF alumni everywhere at all of the major aerospace industries, and we continue to be the nation's top provider of the talent for aerospace and defense industries. When we can bring our students together and our faculty to look at those big problems, we can do great things. And I can tell you we're currently supporting the Artemis program to return people to the moon, the hypersonic propulsion, all of the things in space health. Those are underway, and our faculty at UCF are excited about the opportunities that are yet to come. And I do want to make one specific thank you, and that is a thank you for the past 3 years to Governor DeSantis and the state legislature. You have stepped up, you've supported our university as becoming Florida's premier engineering and technology university. And when we first started talking about growing engineering and technology majors to 25,000 students for an enrollment, I think people thought maybe we were not quite all there today. But I will say this, what's happened is the first time I started to float that with industry, I remember talking to 2 very large industry partners. And I said to them, what do you think if we were to go to 25,000 engineering and technology majors? One of them said, it's about time someone does it. And the other one said, we would hire every one of them. And so we are on that path. We've already grown to 15,600 roughly engineering students. We have probably around another 5,000 almost now technology students, and we're well on our way to 25,000. But that's been enabled by the vision and certainly the support of our state legislature and the governor. So thank you so much for everything you've done for UCF. We look forward to bringing all of that to bear with NASA, with Space Florida, and with our partners at UF and Embry-Riddle to do great things and to continue to move this state forward. We know that together we can position Florida as a launch pad for human exploration and driving Florida's space economy to new heights. And so all of us at UCF look forward to being part of this, and we continue to build on our legacy of research, discovery, and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cartwright. Before we move on, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson would like to share a few words. He was unable to attend today in person, but he sent us a message. Please take a look.
Hey, everybody. I wish I could be with you, but we've actually had a snowstorm up in Washington, and we're digging out of that and just completing the final things on this administration. Now, what you are doing here is something that I have long wanted in Florida to happen. There ought to be a university present at Kennedy Space Center. After all, we have this at our other space centers. Texas A&M is actually building a campus on the Johnson Space Center in Houston. The University of Alabama at Huntsville has a co-located facility with the Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama. The University of California at Berkeley is building a whole new campus on the grounds of the Ames Research Center in California, which is in the Silicon Valley. So it is quite natural. You know, originally, way back in the early days of the astronauts, the original 7, there was actually a relationship between the University of Florida and what was even before the Kennedy Space Center, when we were launching our first astronauts on a medical backup. And so I think it's high time, all these years later, that the universities of Florida, both private and public, come together as you have. I spoke to Dr. David Norton about this at the University of Florida. I encouraged him to continue to put together the consortium, and here you are. And this consortium will be an open door to even more possibilities for the researchers, the faculties, and the students that really have an extraordinary position here in Florida vis-a-vis space. It's going to be opportunities for research and funding, internships, and fellowships. It's going to be opportunities for teaching and learning. And so my thanks to those who made this day possible. So today we take the talents of the Embry-Riddle Eagles, the UCF Knights, and the Florida Gators, and we join them with the NASA Wizards. And that's exactly what NASA employees are. They are wizards because they make the impossible possible. And that's why I call them wizards. So this consortium is the beginning of adding a lot more universities, but it's a dream team. And the things that you all will accomplish won't be dreams anymore. It's going to be spectacular new possibilities of achievement. And that's going to be on Earth, it's going to be in the skies, and it's going to be out there among the stars. Onward and upward. Thank you, guys.
Okay, getting down to the end of the launch countdown. So at this point, I'd like to invite up to the stage Ms. Petro, Dr. Fox, Dr. Butler, and Dr. Cartwright for the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. What we didn't tell them is that launch directors, after a successful launch, there's a nice tie cutting ceremony. So we can maybe get a pair of scissors for Governor DeSantis if he wants to cut some ties after this is all done. All right, you've heard today the impact that collaboration between NASA and the Florida University Space Consortium can have. Thank you for those that have supported this endeavor. Thank you for everyone for your support today. To our esteemed guests again, Governor DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor Nunes, Senator Tom Wright, Representative Tyler Soroy, and Representative Jennifer Canaday. So at this time, we'd like to welcome everyone to the lobby for some refreshments as we take a few photos here in the room. Thank you.